welcome to the first episode of Hartley Whitney's podcast that I'm going to call The Row Revelations. In today's interview, we welcome program editor and Matchday tweeter or Twitterati, Tyler House. How are you, Tyler?
Yeah, I'm all good, thanks, Ashton. How are you? You okay?
Yeah, perfect. Getting through, missing Hartley Whitney, of course. So,
Me too.
let's get straight into it. First question for me is, you're obviously a Plymouth Argyle fan who lives in Southampton. So what brought you to this small village in Hampshire and the club Hartley Whitney FC?
Well, initially, my first visit to Hartley Whitney was intended to be a bit of a one-off, really. I'm from Saltash in southeast Cornwall. Grew up as a big Plymouth Argyle fan. I used to go to the games with my uncle. I had a season ticket until I was 18. And then when I moved to Poole, I kind of missed not being able to go and watch football each week. So I thought, best thing I can do now is go and watch non-league football, maybe visit some different grounds each week. So I knew that Hartley had done very well. They'd won promotion from the combined counties. So it was my mission. I thought I'd go and watch Hartley. And was just amazed by the friendly welcome I had, some of the friendly faces that you get to know, and brilliant football as well. So my first game, I think Sam Argent scored a hat-trick, as he seemed to be doing most weeks. I think it was a 5-1 win. And then it was such an enjoyable day out that I thought, well, I'll go back again soon. And from there, just never looked back. And that first season following Hartley was really exciting. So we had Basingstoke in the FA Cup and knocked them out in a replay. We entered the FA Trophy for the first time and reached the first round proper and lost in the end to Bromley, who were the finalists that year. And then carried on our success in the league, and a little late run got us into the playoffs, and we ended up winning promotion to Step 3. And from there, just never looked back, really. So been involved with the club ever since.
So didn't fancy Poole Town or
No, it would have made far more sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, when I first started watching Hartley, I had like a 3-hour round trip to go and watch a home game. But it was just purely the thing that I thought was going to be a one-off was, I suppose, taken by surprise by how great it was at Hartley, and as I say, sort of never looked back. So I never thought I could sort of replace going to watch Argyle, but obviously now I find time to primarily watch Hartley instead now.
So you fell in love with the wonders of Sam Argent?
I mean, sadly, I think about a few weeks later, after that Basingstoke game, they then signed him from us. That first year, we had Paul Hodges, Paul Strudley, Rowan Vine, the ex-Football League striker, came to us. Jack Ball. We had a lot of good players that first year. I followed them, and I say obviously it ended in promotion, which was great.
Yeah, no better way to really welcome you to the club then.
No, a bit of a glory hunter, I suppose, jumping on the bandwagon. But yeah, obviously the last few years have been successful for the club, which is great.
I think you should rather see it as you're the lucky charm than you're the glory hunter.
Yeah, I like that. I'll go with that from now on.
is that like personality of the club, that fact that they're friendly faces? I think David Graham, when he said he fell in love with Hartley Whitney, it was his Matchday experience. It was how they treated his children, and they made him and his children feel welcome to the ground. Is that what makes Hartley Whitney unique?
Yeah, it's a special club. All those that are involved and anyone that's just like a one-time visitor, I think we all have that same positive experience visiting the club. I think non-league in general was great. It's sort of a hands-on feel to it, and it's special. There's a real sort of sense of camaraderie, I suppose, with non-league, but especially at Hartley. Obviously, we're a small group and we're a small following, but we're very dedicated and loyal. And from not knowing anyone there, you'll be surprised quickly say how many people you get to know and how friendly they all are.
Obviously, Miller's notes you as Hartley Whitney's super fan. What has been your fondest memory with Hartley?
There's been a few standout moments because obviously the club have done so well recently. Obviously the playoff final is an obvious choice. That was a really special day. Bit of club history being made because the club never competed at Step 3 before. That was the first time we'd ever done that. First day of the season, we were away at Poole, and it was actually a game I walked to. Talk about sort of 3-hour round trips for home games and then walk to an away game. But they were in the National League South, so we'd gone up and they'd come down. So we were 2 divisions apart, and I think they were surprised by how strong a side we were. I think they expected they were going to beat us, and we went there and we beat them 3-1, which that was, say, first ever game at step 3 was a really good result. And then we had a nice little run towards the end of the season, and another memorable one was away at Merthyr at the end of the season. It wasn't our best performance, and we were still 1-0 down with a few minutes to go. And I thought what we scored was like a late equaliser, and then even later in stoppage time, we then scored again and beat them 2-1. And it was our longest trip of the season. So to sort of, it's like a snatch and grab kind of win to sort of secure 3 points right at the end. That one stands out as well as a memorable game. I remember getting home sort of like not much before midnight, but it was all worth it. It was such a good day out.
I guess you didn't walk to Merthyr.
No, that one I didn't. Would often go and get the train up to Winchfield Station in the mornings, walk up and get on the coach to go to some of the away games. Probably the best way of following the team, because again, you're surrounded by other sort of loyal supporters, and it's a great atmosphere going and watching Hartley away.
Oh, so we just mentioned him then. How important a role, now be nice, you might be watching, how important a role does Anthony Miller play in Hartley Whitney?
He's played a massive part. Obviously, he's been in the club just over 5 years, and on the pitch, pretty much since the moment he arrived, the club's always been very successful. Obviously, he took over a side that was playing in the Combined Counties Premier, now in the Southern Premier. As well as obviously results and performances and football being good at Hartley, that we seem to bring in some really good players. And one thing he deserves more credit for is those players stick around. They get the same feel that we do as fans, that Hartley's a special club. And it seems that when opportunities come along for players to maybe move on elsewhere, after working with Millers at Hartley, they seem to always come back afterwards. So we've had a lot of players in the last year or so have come back for second or third spells. And I think that's down to, again, playing for Hartley, playing for Millers. And then the other thing as well is the bits behind the scenes that we don't see. It's not just a match day. He's really bridged the gap between the juniors and the first team as well. So he gives up a lot of his time to coach the younger players, helped out under 15s and things like that. Again, maybe that's a little bit like what non-league's like, but I think he gives up an awful lot of time to help the club in any way he can.
He goes above and beyond in a way.
Definitely, without doubt. Yeah.
You mentioned there players that have been brought in. Out of the players brought in this season, have any of them stood out for you?
Like the look of Dom Griffiths, I think he's done a great job. Anis as well has come in. And obviously it's added to what we already had from last season with obviously good players. Luke in goal was a stand-up player last year. They've been impressed by Matchday as well this season. I think he's done really well so far. One
of the strengths of Dom is his ball playing ability. He really opens up the field for Hartley Whitney. Obviously another one is Ben Wright, who's played much higher. He's obviously played for Peak in the Football League. I think Forest Green Rovers. Is he someone that has really shone so far? Yeah, I think so, and I think we know we've still got more to see from him as well. I think he did a good job at Basingstoke. I just say I think he had a few games at Peterborough in the Football League and Forest Green and people like that. So it's great to sort of have. We've got quite a lot of younger players in the squad. We've also got that experience that balances it out. He's certainly a good striker of the ball. He knows how to find the net. I think we saw the goal against Eastleigh in pre-season. That's the kind of things that he can do. Real composed finish, but he's sort of 30 yards out and he's folded it in over top of the keeper. So now, obviously, we can't see the best to come yet because of the second lockdown. When you went into the first one, Hartley Whitney had won 6 out of 7 games. Was there a level of frustration going into lockdown that when the league got cancelled, kind of like a feeling of what could have been? Yeah, it's a shame we couldn't finish the league, and also obviously a shame that it finished at a point where we were doing really well. We seemed to sort of be replicating what we did the previous season, which was the kind of middle part of the league. So the middle part of the season, we were dropping down the league. The previous year, sort of January, February time, we were in and around the bottom 3, and then real good run of form, and we eventually finished in the top half. And it felt very much like we were going to do something very similar again last season. Miller's brought in quite a lot of new players. Sam came back, Mitch came back, Matt Drage, and there was new signs as well. Aaron Call we signed. He's a brilliant player. Again, he's played Football League as well. Marley Ridge came back. We signed Kingsley. So we obviously had good players in the squad already, but we really turned things around once we made those signings. And
that squad towards the end of that last season was really strong. So yeah, of course, it was a shame that we didn't get a chance to finish it.
Coming out of lockdown, obviously we had the friendlies, but the first thing that really started it and welcomed us back was the FA Cup journey that we've been on. How was that as a fan to look at?
Yeah, obviously equaled the club's best ever run. So the last time, which fourth qualifying round was before I started following the club. So that was the first time I'd seen the team do that. Obviously, an unusual kind of FA Cup this year, with the very first game of the season was an FA Cup game, and Hamworthy was a very kind of scrappy affair. We had to kind of sneak our way through that one. It wasn't an easy game. And then also to have midweek games as well that weren't replayed was quite unusual as well. But the two benefits is obviously the prize money, and obviously hopefully now that momentum we can take into league games. Also, that's been halted by the season coming to a stop, but it was a sign of what we can do. Couple of games where we come from behind to win. And it was exciting as well. You know, we scored a lot of goals in that cup run. I've seen sort of things on Twitter where they were saying about those non-league sides that have been in the competition. We were always ranking among the highest scorers throughout the qualifying rounds. So it was 5 against Hanwell, 5 against Erith and Belvedere, again with the comeback against Barking. So it was good. It was exciting. So plenty of goals along the way. Got knocked out with a very, very narrow defeat in the end. We gave a good account of ourselves against Dagenham and was unfortunate to lose that in the end.
What was that day like in the fourth round against Dagenham Redbridge? Obviously, I was there, but for people who weren't, what was that experience like within an empty stadium?
Yeah, obviously an unusual one. That was the kind of history being made there. So we know we've got a good following away from home. There's so many that go and watch the side away each week, and they would have loved to have been there. So it's the sign of the times, I suppose. It's a shame that we couldn't have had a home draw or perhaps been away to someone else where we could have had supporters. That said, the club made the most of it. So we actually had the live screening of the game in the clubhouse. So again, it was a chance to bring fans together and have that support. A little bit of extra revenue, I suppose, through the bar as well for the club, and obviously have a nice atmosphere. And whether they're watching the clubhouse or from home or from elsewhere, I'm sure any Hartley fans that watched that game would have been proud of the team and their performance that day.
What are your hopes and aspirations for the season ahead once we've come out of this hopefully 1 month break?
I suppose as I said a couple of minutes ago, I think we're still very early on in the season. We haven't played that many league games, and we know the best is still to come from the side that we've got. We're in a fiercely competitive league, so I think the 8 game we weren't at our best, but we got the right result, and I'm sure we'll have more games like that throughout the season where we'll grind out results. We're a little bit of a better side than just sort of staying up by the skin of our teeth, but obviously, as I say, the league being competitive as it is, it does sort of lead us to grind out results where we can. In terms of where we finish the table, I don't mind as long as we're safe. As I say, I'm sure we're more than capable of securing another season at step 3, and we'll see how far the club can go, and I'm sure Millers and the players and the management will want to finish as high at the table as they can. It's a shame the season's been halted, but everyone's in the same boat.
The run in the FA Cup obviously brings financial backing. Hopefully that will help.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the prize money I think was less than what it had been in previous years, but obviously it's still a big boost to the club. It's difficult, again, as well as obviously from the football side of things, the fact the clubhouse obviously had to close for a few weeks as well. So it's all lost revenue. It's all tough times. I mean, I'm sure Hartley aren't alone. Other clubs in our division will have the same problem. I think the best we can hope for is that when we do finally come out of this, that we say we can have a run through now and not have any more interruptions. Whether that's possible or not remains to be seen, I suppose.
One of the positives that happened before the season started was now Hartley Whitney has a full-time academy. Is that an exciting prospect for you?
Yeah, definitely. So we've got the new under-23 development team. So they're in the Suburban League, which the reserve team was in up until last season. Andy and Ross have joined, so they're experienced coaches. As I say, they've also got their full-time academy running from the football club. So that's a huge step. And there's real promising signs there, because already quite a few of those under-23 players have been in the first team. So I think Josh Sheepwell's played quite a few games. We had Toby Raggett, Ethan Burden, James Beecham. So there's signs there already, even the very first couple of months or so.
For me, one of them that has really shone is Lucas Burt. Has he impressed you so far?
Yes, so I never watched Lucas the first time he played for Hartley. I got an idea he played for us when we were in the combined counties, and then he went to America and played up there for a little while. Played college football, come back with a good goal scoring record. We've got a few players on the fringe of the team like Lucas who have a lot of talent. Lucas is so quick as well. So it's about kind of bridging that gap now. In terms of competing for a place at the front, he's got stiff competition because there's obviously Kingsley, Sam, Ben, but as I say, he's already on the fringe of the team, and hopefully he'll be one that will improve throughout the season and kind of force his way into Menez's plans.
What was it like with the playoff in 2018? I personally hate playoffs, but I think it's an unneeded stress. But for you, when you win them, surely it's the best way to get promoted.
Yeah, well, a couple of years earlier, I was in a playoff campaign as an Argyle fan, and experienced the real highs and lows of that one because we beat Portsmouth over 2 legs in the semi-final, which was just the most amazing feeling, and then ended up losing in the final at Wembley to Wimbledon. So that was awful feeling. So you are right there. The playoffs are really nice if you win, I suppose. It was a funny one because that year there's a whole thing about playoff finalists that lost in the final might still win promotion. It was a real funny one. So we were supposedly in a situation where if we lost the playoff final, we would have still won promotion, which was obviously a strange scenario to be in. But we went about things the right way. We were determined to try and win that final. So I think we beat AFC Dunstable in the semi-final. Then the final at Cambridge City, which who we'd lost to home and away in the season, so we knew it was going to be a tough game. But on the day, we were the better side. Nick Chiodini pops up with the winner, and we held out and won promotion, and obviously won promotion the right way as well to actually win the playoff final. So a memorable day, very special, and that's again sort of all of what we've achieved at the club over the last few years. Another special achievement.
What were the celebrations like after that playoff victory?
Yeah, it was brilliant, really brilliant. So obviously we had the presentation where the players got their medals. So we're out on the veranda, everyone sort of left the trophy, and then kind of as you'd expect, really, sort of clubhouse was packed after the game, and just sort of enjoying the moment. Really, it was a scorching hot day as well. So a tough one to play and expect for the players. It was a really hot day, but great. We because of where we finished in the league, we hosted the semi-final and we hosted the final as well. So there's a little bit of that advantage as well that we were actually the hosts of the playoff final as well. And of course, it worked out for us in the end to get promotion.
Now, obviously, celebrations can get messy. Elaine Millen has told me not to mention Freddie Morris. Should I leave that out, or is?
Yeah, again, that's the Hartley coach trips for you. They're certainly good fun. I mean, with the coach trips as well. I mean, whether sort of win, lose or draw, coach the journey home, everyone's always in good spirits anyway. So yes, does lead to one or two drunken moments. Yes, there's a particular photo of Freddie that circulates on social media every so often. I've got an idea our chairman's the worst culprit for posting it, but no, it's all intended in good spirits. They are good fun, the coach trips. Obviously, we don't know when the next one will be now, but hopefully once we're over the worst of the virus, we have a few more to look forward to. The players are the same as well. The players want to enjoy themselves too, so they are good fun.
Well, hopefully soon this lockdown will be over and COVID will pass, and hopefully the good things about Hartley, even though we still have them, you still get to see faces and stuff. We're quite lucky at step 3 that you can at the moment. Well, before lockdown, you could go in.
Yeah, I must admit, higher up, I can't see fans coming back anytime soon, which is a shame, but I just don't see it at the moment. So you are right. We're lucky that we obviously have the fortune of at least being able to go and watch the team at the moment. And yeah, hopefully the league's back up and running soon.
Well, thank you, Tyler, for joining me on this.
Okay, thanks a lot. Cheers.
Podcast. I'll see you later.
All right, bye.